Hey, Ripple members. Hey, welcome to our monthly recap. I'm with Cynthia Berg as always. How you doing, Cynthia?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. We had a really jam-packed January. When looking back over all the things that we accomplished this month for the members and just all the sort of the amazing different paths we went down in terms of this Hero Glasses theme. I'm just very proud of what we did this month. Good way to start the new year, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. And I'm hoping that every year January can become like known as the month of generosity, and we can run this wave of generosity challenge every year and grow it and maybe even reach, further to gather together a lot of people on this movement to extend generosity beyond the holiday season and into the brand new year and set the tone for the year. And it was a lot of fun, actually. I was really, in the beginning, I was feeling like, this is going to be hard. Make some small, generous act every single day for 31 days. And I thought that was going to be difficult, but we put together some really simple, actionable ideas on the weekly
Yeah.
PDFs that went out to people who signed up. And I thought that those things were really simple to do, way more simple than I thought. And even the bigger things that I attempted to do, the bigger generous acts that I chose to do this month were really not as hard as I thought they were going to be. So I think
Yeah.
we create the story in our head that generosity has to be like overwhelming or expensive, or like you're going to put forward a lot of effort. And in fact, it was the smallest efforts and the most affordable ways that I feel like were more genuine, and they felt really good to do, and I think were really appreciated. So I was
Yeah.
curious to know,
I found the
like,
same.
yeah, if there were any acts of generosity that you made this month that are memorable for you.
The buy the goat, for one of your contacts was an interesting one for sure. There were just several good ones, right? Which kicked off even additional thoughts, right, for other ways that you could apply this concept. And I think, for our members, even if you didn't get in like at the very beginning of the month, just because we did it as a 31-day challenge, it doesn't necessarily mean that you had to start on January 1st and end it today, the last day of the month. It really could be started anytime, or you could carry this forward into your future months, utilizing those really good suggestions that we came up with to leverage this as a way to really create those positive ripples out there. Is something that really doesn't have a time limit, and it's a great way. Even though we're going to term the month of January around this concept of generosity and hero glasses, which we'll talk about here in just a second, the opportunity to leverage this as your carry forward, mode of operation, I think can be really beneficial. I got, quite a few really fun comments and into a couple of conversations around how people were really utilizing this as the perfect way to kick off their year and started their momentum differently than they had in years past. And that was the whole intent. And so that piece was really, really valuable. So, super grateful that we, came up with this. And I think it's a challenge that we can, make as part of our annual giving approach in January. But this is something that I encourage our members to use over and over again throughout the year for sure. What was your take on the hero glasses? Obviously, this concept, being able to look for and find the good in others. I mean, I recognize that when people were hearing us talk about this term hero glasses, it was unusual. It was a little bit different. And when they got to understand and appreciate the concept through the masterclass, it was really fun to hear how people were leveraging that as well.
Yeah, and again, it's like I think I have a tendency to walk around thinking that I'm nobody's hero, you know. But
I think a lot of us do that.
yeah, and it's really quite eye-opening, maybe is a good pun, but if you were to just be more conscious about wearing the lens of being a hero to other people, then you start to notice the opportunities to do so. So it's like, I don't really see the opportunities until I put the glasses on and make a really conscious effort to see the opportunities to create, to help, elevate other people, to help support other people, to help even, mentioning people on social media
Yeah.
is such a gift, to awareness about the good that other people are doing in their business or even in their personal lives, to volunteer or make a difference in their communities, to actually stop and notice those things. With the lens, you're able to see those opportunities much more clearly and pull them out and think, what could I do to bring more awareness to this? What could I do to raise this person up? Even noticing people who maybe have been quiet for a while and asking the question, are you okay? Like,
Yeah.
how are things going? Like, I haven't heard from you in a while. The sign of, somebody who's struggling, maybe just them being, you know, absent or quiet. So just
Yeah.
looking for the people that I haven't heard from in a while and noticing,
Yep.
I think just makes a huge difference.
It does, especially, I think also, it's perfect timing doing it in this month when people have gone through, all the hubbub of the holidays, and there's that kind of, excitement and, just a little bit higher level of energy. And then everybody falls into January, like, kind of the doldrums of winter, and, looking for and recognizing people for, some of the awesomeness that they have, just putting your attention, towards them, wishing them, the best for a new year. Those things all have that applicability here in terms of the concept. But the real value, I think, was intentionally us as Ripplers looking for how to put those lenses on so that we could see what other people don't see in themselves. And that's what I enjoyed about doing the master class, was really got an opportunity to play with this a little bit different than, some of the other master classes that we've done. Yours and mine, really yours last month, mine this month. We really kind of took a little bit of a departure from our traditional master class where you've just got one instructor up talking the whole time, but we kind of played it up a little bit differently, broke it out into segments, and the members really seemed to like that, which I loved. And so, if you're catching this on the replay, we definitely encourage you to go back and check out the different sessions that we've done throughout the month, the masterclass being one of them. We had this great seat at the table with Diana Amorti, who does our anchoring exercise. She kicked off the new year with a great anchoring session. I really loved that. Actually, I've been back to it a couple of times myself this month, but she was one of our guest coaches, as was Diane Carroll. And they just had such great enthusiastic energy and focus. And it was an interesting topic. We won't give it away here because if you haven't seen it, it's an opportunity for you to go back and catch the replay. But this was a really fun, engaged conversation for Cynthia and I to participate in with our two guest coaches. And so those are the kinds of things that we really enjoy doing, because this, we actually heard from several people after the fact that there was just so much good stuff that they pulled out of that roundtable discussion was spot on. And of course we had
Yeah.
the TED Talk, right? We did the TED Talk as well.
Yeah. And I love the TED Talk because we're able to leverage, a recorded TED Talk, but then afterwards have a conversation with the members, between us to figure out what pieces really spoke to us. And it elicited so many unique stories. And when I love TED, but then a lot of times it's like I'll watch a TED Talk and then that's it. I kind of forget about it. But this is a way to really, it's rich when you get around the table with other members and you hear what spoke to them, and it is something different than what spoke to me. So, I feel like it enhances the experience because there's some parts of the talk that maybe just kind of go right by me that get caught by someone else in a very unique way. So I really love that opportunity that we have every month for the members to come together and have a really meaty discussion about a particular topic.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite highlights of the month because, like you said, it's an opportunity when you see these talks and you're left with your own thoughts. There's value there, of course, but the reality is hearing it from someone else that may have taken something that was said or took a different take on the presentation. In this case, we had Adam Grant was our Ted Ripple speaker for this month, and it was a great session. But I actually found there were a couple of things that got brought up that I had kind of missed or just had not thought of enough and really dove into it myself, and that made me go back and want to rewatch the talk, which is that's the power, right? When you bring this into a community, which is what we're creating here, everybody has their own experiences, their own impressions of certain things, and they also have their own ability to contribute what they're taking from these key things. And that's true the TED Talk, the seat at the table, even found it with the very unusual and kind of a change up that we did for the 8-minute ripple this month. I mean, that was a fun. We ran into a little bit of a technology problem, which ended up being a gift, right, for how that
Yeah.
session ended up unfolding.
I find it so funny how just a short story is that we usually do these great breakout rooms during the 8-minute ripple, and then because my account was set up, I had a newly set up account and I had not gone into the settings to enable breakout rooms. So we found out while we're in session that we did not have access to breakout rooms. So
And found
we
out you
finished.
could not set that setting while you were in the
Yeah,
meeting.
so I had no idea that I had to go do that. But it's still like funny how a mistake can open up an opportunity to do things in a novel and innovative way. And
Agreed.
instead of thinking that it was, ruined, everything was ruined. We just quickly just did what we could. And we, instead of breakout rooms, ran the Ripple as a group. And it was actually really amazing.
Yeah.
And so it was completely unplanned turn of events, but there was a lot special about this 8-minute ripple to begin with. One, you generously offered it for free this month in honor of our Wave of Generosity challenge. Two, we held it at 11:30 a.m., which was sort of over the lunch hour Central Time, which was a little bit of a new time for us. We usually have been holding them in the evening. So this was an opportunity to do it during the day. And three, it was only an hour long. So it was kind of a speedy, version of what we normally do. And then on top of that, we did it as a group. So
Yep.
there was just a lot new about the 8-minute ripple experience. And I think we're going to try to repeat some of that in February.
Yeah, we are. We had a good time. It was a great experience, and it worked out perfect. And it also actually sort of gave us a kind of a different idea on maybe changing up the format a little bit, just to add a variety and maybe aren't always necessary. We got feedback from one of our members, Carol, yesterday, how much she actually enjoyed that process, just being in one general pond, right, with everybody. So, and sort of what a different take she took from that Ripple experience, which was great. We also, definitely got to give a shout out to Susie Turner, who is bringing the beats, right, with finding your rhythm with Susie Turner. She's walking us through and teaching us about drumming, which people are like, why are we doing this? And part of the inspiration behind this is really helping people understand and appreciate the fact that you've got to figure out what your rhythm is. You've got to figure out how to tap into that, and ultimately that, believe it or not, has a direct effect in terms of how you connect and engage with other people, right? And so this process has become something of an unusual experience because it reminds you that you have your rhythm. Two, it gives you some insight and some inspiration on how to tap into that in some very simple ways. You don't have to have a drum set. You don't have to have, the necessarily anything other than your hands and a desk, right? You could even do it, tapping out on your chest or on your laptop. And it's been a really fun addition. And I'm getting so many of our members like, I didn't think I was going to like it, and I keep coming back to it. And so she's doing a really good job of sort of building this momentum, and we're just having a blast with it. And that's, along with the setting sail with Gujan, right? His way of wrapping up the entire month in such a phenomenal way. when you think of everything that we do with starting at the very beginning of the month with Diana Amorte's intentional anchoring, where we tie in the theme and do it in such a really fun, engaged way. And then how we wrap it up at the end of the month, Gujan does a great job of kind of putting a bow on the month for us. There's just something in here for every member, no matter what you're looking for or what really speaks to you. You don't have to do it all. That's, we probably sound like a broken record here, but there's so much that you can participate in. But the beautiful thing about January is it doesn't go away. It'll still be there for our members. And maybe just talk about that just briefly, Cynthia, on how someone that's catching this replay, it's like, oh, I missed all this great stuff in January, hasn't really missed out. How can they go back and experience it?
Yeah, so I think everything except for the 8-minute ripple we record for replay. So if you do miss it live or you can't attend at noon or, whatever the case may be, you can always go back and check it out later. So there's no real urgency, this isn't like a course that you have to take and, a deadline by which you have to watch or, pass the test. That's not how we roll at all. What we're doing is we're capturing all this content month over month. And so the idea is that you'll be able to go back to maybe even 6 months ago. And if you're curious, tap in and see,
Yep.
What was the discussion like at Seat at the Table back in October. So this is just what we try to do every week is send out an announcement by email that gives you little breadcrumbs, links to new content or things that you might have missed in the last week. So you in that email, maybe pick out one thing that you feel like you want to check out and let that be the breadcrumb that brings you back to the membership to partake in something interesting. So you might have a week where, you don't have much time. And then maybe you have a weekend where you're off to the cabin and you want to click through and watch a few things.
Yep.
Instead of watching Netflix, you can, click through and watch a few really interesting replays with the Ripple membership. So that I think is really high value, not just getting 1 month of content and opportunities. You're getting all the previous months.
Absolutely. Well, and as we wrap up this session of the Ripple Recap, I mean, we want to thank you guys for participating, obviously, wherever you're plugging in, however you're plugging in relative to the Ripple membership. We appreciate you. The feedback, that we are getting is still super strong. We really appreciate all of the suggestions and input that we've gotten from many of you. Keep it coming because that only makes the community better for all of us. And at the end of the day, we want to make sure that you know that this shouldn't be a secret, right? If you know other people that will be inspired and motivated, not only just by the concept of the Ripple, but, and all this great content, all the great coaching opportunities, all the engagement opportunities that we provide through the membership platform, please make sure that you let them know about this, right? Encourage them to sign up, or if they have questions, to reach out to us to learn more about the Ripple membership, because we have found that there are definitely some lurkers out there that are curious about what we're doing and trying to figure it out, so that they can determine whether they want to invest their time and their energies here. We want to encourage those conversations so that we can explain what we're doing and exactly why this is such a unique departure from a traditional membership model, and just how much value that we're bringing to the table. And this is a labor of love, but it only continues to ignite those flames as we create even bigger and broader ripples. And so that's what we want, and we want to be able to broaden our audience and broaden our our reach and continue to provide such great experiences for all of you out there. But don't be shy about sharing it and letting people know that they need to check it out. We'd appreciate that recommendation or that referral for sure. So, Cynthia, it's been a great month. January was a great way to kick off. I'm just so overwhelmingly grateful for all the work and effort that you put in this month, and appreciate everything that you're doing. And know that we're coming up on a really bunch of great stuff coming in February, and so super excited for that. But I guess we'll get ready to jump into February right now.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm getting ready.
Awesome. All right. We'll ripple on and we will talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
All right. Bye.